we'll just get rolling. Thanks everybody for joining us today. We have head coach Jordyn Wieber on to discuss the 2022 season. We're just going to start right with questions. So if you have a question, just use the raise hand function or let me know in the chat and we will get started. And if anyone doesn't have the ability to record, let me know and I'll change that out for you. But we will start with Jacob.
Yeah, Jordyn, last year, obviously one of the better seasons in program history, and just to have that veteran presence returning in, Kennedy, Sarah, Bailey, Abby, just how have you seen that fold over now into a new year with all those girls coming back?
Well, I actually keep talking about it every interview I do. It's like we have this really interesting dynamic where we have both a veteran team and a rookie team at the same time, because our senior class has 7 and our freshman class has 6. So it's a dynamic I've never seen before, but it's been really awesome. And we have such a strong leadership presence in the gym with, some of those seniors that you mentioned, especially with people like Maggie and Abby and Bailey, Kennedy. All 7 of them really. And it's been super helpful to have them kind of guiding that massive freshman class that we have. This is probably, I've got to say, it's probably one of the most talented Arkansas gymnastics teams I've ever seen and we've ever had. So it's exciting, and there's so much potential with this team.
And then just going off that, when you have such a strong veteran presence, what challenges does that create in, I guess, progressing all those younger gymnasts when they maybe not getting the reps come the start of the season?
Yeah. I think that the challenge is going to be figuring out how to structure our lineups, because obviously those that have been here and been competing in college gymnastics for a few years, they're really reliable. We know what to expect when you put them in the lineup and they go up to compete. Whereas we still have to get that information from some of our freshmen. But it's going to be, I think, a good mix of both the rookies and the veterans in our lineups this year. We obviously will see a lot of Leah Smith and Mackie Sedlacek and Callista Gamiao. So you're going to see a lot of freshman presence, but a lot of that, I think towards the end of the lineups, you'll see some of those older ones just anchoring it out and, being that really reliable, finisher for our lineups.
Awesome.
All right, let's just go in order and move on to Tara.
Well, Jordyn, you talk about the young people that you have on your team now. Can you fill us in a little bit on some of the newcomers?
Yeah. So we've got 6 freshmen. Leah Smith is probably one name you've heard. She was the Nastia Lukin Cup champion last year and committed to us this past summer. Obviously extremely talented. She's just got really amazing, exciting, dynamic gymnastics. And she has just a confidence about her because of her experience and how well she's done in level 10. So excited to see her compete this season. Similarly, Mackie Sedlacek, she's a little bit under the radar, I think, but I think she's going to shock a lot of people. She's got a massive 1.5 on vault, just really beautiful lines on bars. She'll be, still question mark by beam. We're kind of waiting to see how the last few intra squads go as far as consistency. But, I think you'll see her towards the end of the floor lineup as well. A huge full in, really fun, interesting routine. Love her music. And then we've got Callista Gamiao from Hawaii. So she's come from really far away and, is really adjusting to honestly a completely different culture. But she's like, when you watch her on beam, it's like you're at the spa. It's just graceful. It's steady. It's easygoing, and but at the same time, she has a standing layout series, which is really hard. It's really impressive. So you'll definitely see her on beam and floor this year. She might make an appearance on vault. We'll see. And another freshman I think that is a little bit under the radar is Kylee Weaver. Right now, she's training all 4 events, and I think at any point in the season, you could see her on any of those 4 events. She's going to be a huge player for us on beam, as well as vault. And then we're pushing to get her ready on bars and floor as well. And then Maddie Jones, she came to us, and you'll definitely see her in the bar lineup this year, and hopefully an appearance on floor as well. And then Frankie Price, she tore her ACL last season in level 10. So she's hoping to make it back at least on bars by the end of the season, but she's still kind of recovering from that surgery.
And then I saw that Kennedy posted something on social media talking about how you guys are going to be giving back to different causes this year. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so that was actually our team's idea completely. So I had Maggie O'Hara and Bailey Lovett came to me a few weeks ago, and they were actually really inspired by our kicker on the football team, Cam Little. And he posted at the beginning of the season that every time he makes a field goal throughout the season, he was going to donate and partner with an organization that he felt really passionate about, which was an autism foundation. And so they loved that idea. And I think with the whole NIL era, our student athletes are feeling really appreciative and really grateful for these new opportunities that they're getting in all aspects, financially, just the experience, being able to partner with causes they're passionate about. And so they said, you know what, we want to do our own version of that. We want to give back to some of these causes that we're really passionate about. So they actually decided to choose one charity per month of the season. And they're going to be finding different creative ways to give back. And they wanted to get as many people on the team on board as they possibly could. So I think we'll see it look a little different for every athlete, but that is totally them driving the bus, which I could not be more proud. I think that says a lot about our team. It says a lot about their character. And they're really embracing this idea that, what we're doing is more than just gymnastics. It's inspiring other people. It's a platform to be able to give back to the community and to people in need. And I love that that's where their heart is at. And I think that's really going to fuel this team to have a really another historic, incredible season.
All right, Jordyn, thank you.
All right, let's move on to Tom.
Hey, Jordyn, thanks for doing this, by the way. And
Of course.
you don't want to see my hair. But anyway, hearing you talk about the freshmen, I'm wondering about the competition to get in the lineups this year. Might it be as great as we've seen here?
You know what, this is the start of my third season here, and we have more depth this year than we've had the past 2 years. We have more athletes training more events, which is always good. And I would say that even our depth is fighting for spots in that top 6, which is really good. In the past, sometimes we've had depth, but it wasn't always depth that we felt like, if we needed to rest somebody, and they could go up and put a similar score up on the board. So I'm really excited about that depth. We're hoping to keep the team healthy and kind of maintain the health throughout the season, so we can have that depth and be able to rest people when they need to be rested, and also give our freshmen and newcomers some competitive experience this season. So yeah, I always love it when it's tough for me to choose the lineups and I can't choose. That's always a good problem to have.
Gotcha. Well, I was adding it up in my head as you were counting off the routines for the young ones. So maybe as many as 12, half or so, do you think? Or what do you feel like when the season gets going?
What do you mean?
Half the routines in the first meet by freshmen?
I haven't laid it all out and counted, but I would say it's probably somewhere close to that. Yeah.
Okay. And then just the leadership production from your team. Maggie, who will lead for you?
Yeah. I mean, Maggie O'Hara is the first person that comes to mind. She transferred to us last season and obviously had an incredible season. She competed 2 events and made nationals and qualified as an All-American at nationals on bars. So she's just got not only a wealth of experience, but she's pursuing a master's degree right now. She's applying for OT programs and potentially PhD programs. So she's obviously mature. And she has a way of leading by both example and vocally that inspires her team and not just says, here's what you need to do. And so that's been really incredible to have in the gym. This is her 6th year of college gymnastics because of some injuries she's gone through. And I keep telling her, man, I wish you had a 7th year because we just love having her in the gym that much. She's such an awesome leader for us. And then Sarah Schaefer, she's always been a big one. I think the team really looks up to her. She's just a gamer. That when you put her in the lineup, she's going to go up and she's going to hit a routine and it's going to be amazing. She loves to compete. Both Maggie and Sarah coming back from surgeries that they had earlier in the spring. So they're working to get ready to compete, it's been good. It's allowed us to have more time to focus in on our freshmen who we needed to develop a little bit more. So they're 2 that come to mind. And then Bailey Lovett is another one. She has grown a lot in her leadership. When she speaks up, the team listens. And I love that. She's really matured in a lot of ways. She always knows the right things to say to her team, but now she's, as she's matured and grown up through our program, she's now learning how to lead by example in the gym as well, and putting the work and the actions behind her words, which is something I'm really proud of her for doing.
Gotcha. My last question, the difficulty levels for your team have they moved up for this season?
Absolutely. Especially the one event that comes to mind is vault. We've right now got 3 10-0 start values that we're planning to compete the first meet. Vuchenko 1.5s, and we definitely have more athletes that are capable of doing 10-0 start values. That's probably what we'll see the first meet. And so I'm excited to see that event, not only jump in start value, but just the quality of the vaults. I think we're vaulting higher, we're landing stronger, which is great. We've got, we've always been a really strong floor team, but I think our difficulty this year on floor will be increased. We have, nearly our whole lineup will be doing e-passes, which is really good. That's definitely something that we need to be doing in order to compete with the top teams. And then, goal on beam is to just be consistent, be calm, and be confident. And same thing with bars. I would say our difficulty has always been, pretty up to par on bars with the other teams. So I think the 2 events that kind of stand out as far as difficulty this year, improving our vault and floor.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordyn.
Isabel, we'll turn it over to you.
Hi, thank you, Jordyn. So your meet versus Auburn is in Bud Walton. So I'm wondering what it was like setting up that meet and what it'll be like to compete against the reigning Olympic all-around champ in that meet.
Yeah, it's funny because there'll be, 3 Olympic gold medalists in the building at that time, and four Olympians, which is, I don't know if that's ever happened in college gymnastics. That's exciting. But competing in Bud Walton for the first time, I could not be more excited and also grateful to our athletic department for supporting us and being able to have that meet there. It's been something we've been talking about and trying to plan since I first got to Arkansas. We love Barnhill. That's our home. It's where we love to compete, and our fans love it. But we definitely saw that there's room to grow. And, the first year when we were able to have full crowds and nearly selling out and just really packing that arena, I could tell, I think as we grow this program, we're going to also outgrow Barnhill a little bit. And so we were planning on doing it last year, and then with COVID and not being able to have large crowds, we put it on hold until this year. And so we're excited to get in there. Our goal is to have 10,000 fans in the arena for the Auburn meet. I think it's going to be a great competition. Obviously, we chose Auburn because we know it's always a great meet. We've gone back and forth. The first year I coached at Arkansas, they came here and beat us. And last year we went to Auburn and beat them and broke a program score record. So we know it's going to be a good meet. I think it's going to be really exciting. Having Suni here, obviously she's going to be a great college gymnast. I just think it's going to be a good competition, and that's all you can ask for. And I'm excited to be in Bud Walton for the first time.
Thank you. I was also wondering about your early road meet schedule as 2 big meets with LSU and Florida. So what you're doing to prepare for that, and especially the freshmen, that'll be very early on in their first season.
Yeah. The thing I love about our freshmen is that they've competed on big stages before, especially athletes like Leah and Mackie. Mackie was elite for a couple of years, dropped back to level 10, but she knows how to compete on a podium. Obviously, so does Leah, since she was at the Nastia Cup, and both of them and even other freshmen as well, they love to compete, and they actually thrive off of that pressure. So I have no doubt that when we go to an LSU or a Florida, really wherever in the SEC, they're going to love that level of pressure. And I always tell my team and our team that, wherever we are, no matter who the opponent is, the job is the same. The job is to go up and do our routines to the best of our ability and do what we've trained to do. And so that's going to be my message throughout the season, no matter if we're going to Mizzou or LSU or wherever. We're going to go and we're going to do the same job, because ultimately even the equipment is mostly the same everywhere. The crowds might look a little different. They might be different colors, but we're going to go out and do our best gymnastics.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob, we'll go back to you.
Jordyn, just one more quick one. Bringing at a conference back this year, and that's the first meet of the year. Do you feel like that gives you a little bit more room to experiment when you're not jumping right into SEC play?
It's a little bit different. But to be honest, like I just said, I think it feels the same as far as, how we talk about things with our team and that team feeling, whoever team comes into town, our goal is to go out and compete at our best and be ready for that first meet. I think even Ohio State is a great team. I'm excited to start our season versus Ohio State. And we always love welcoming out of conference schools to Fayetteville because people love competing here and it's always a great environment for them to compete. So I'm excited and I was also pumped about non-conference competition coming back this year because we're able to do a podium meet. So we're going to elevate the stage and I really think that will prepare us well for SEC championships and then, hopefully eventually nationals. So, being able to have that experience on the podium before we go to the championship will be really valuable for our team.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Do we have Taylor joining us from the Arkansas Traveler. Do we have any more questions for Coach Wieber?
Jordyn, I'll jump in. Considering you guys compete so early after the first of the year, how much time or how little time do you get over break before everybody's back? And I'm sure you don't want to take too much time off for here. It's just too much. So I'm curious what your schedule's like.
Yeah, not much time. So are actually in finals week right now. They'll finish finals tomorrow, and then we will practice and do a full intra squad on Monday, and then they will go home after the intra squad and come back the day after Christmas and get right back to work. So it's a quick turnaround after Christmas to that first meet, but we take that into account when we're creating the plan. And our goal is to be fully competition ready before they leave for Christmas break, so that when we come back, it's just you get back into the swing of things, just clean up some details here and there and be ready to go. So for the most part, they're ready. They're landing on hard surfaces. We've been able to actually train in Barnhill this week and do a lot of bars and beam in there. And so my goal is for them to be ready, confident, mentally and physically after Monday in our last intra squad, and then come back and just kind of tweak some things and just go for it.
All right, well, just open it back up if anybody else has any follow-ups for Coach Wieber.
Yeah, Jordyn, it's Tom again. Just real quick on Bailey. She 100%. How's she feeling?
She's not quite 100% yet. She's feeling really good though. She had a massive elbow surgery back in the spring. Basically has a brand new elbow, which is great. Right now she's fully back on beam and she's almost fully back on floor. And we still have a question mark whether or not she's going to do bars this season, but she is like fired up. She is motivated. She is asking me, when can I do floor? When can I be in the intra squads? And I kind of have to pull her back sometimes because she's another one of those athletes that just loves to compete and gets so much joy out of it. So definitely we'll see her on beam and floor this season. And for Bailey, it's all about kind of keeping her consistent and keeping her healthy and just keeping the numbers low because she does have a new elbow, but it's still, we still have to manage it. But we don't know about bars yet, but definitely beam and floor this season.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about how Kylee has settled into her role and what she's bringing to the team this year?
Yeah, Kylee's been amazing. I mean, she's the best volunteer coach you could ever want. I've seen Kylee in so many different phases of life. I would say, we were teammates together and then I coached her for a while and now she's here coaching with us. And, the character qualities that Kylee has have remained the same through all of those different phases. She's such a solid human being. She's never in a bad mood. She's always happy and smiling. And it's like, I couldn't have picked a better fourth puzzle piece for our coaching staff. The team responds really, really well to her because she's really positive, but at the same time, she's very technically sound. She knows what she's talking about when it comes to gymnastics. She has really great advice and input, obviously from her own career. She's very wise when it comes to gymnastics. And, yes, we were both Olympians, but she did college gymnastics for 4 years and I didn't. So she has, she comes from a different place than I do. And we also have very different personalities. So she's brought a ton to this program. I'm excited to see her coach in competition. And she just thrives off of being in the gym every day. And I can't say enough good things.
Thanks.
All right, Taylor, do you have a question?
Yeah, I got one real quick. I was at the game, I was at the basketball game, and I heard you talk about just the buzz around campus and stuff like that. Has the overall success of the athletic program as a whole, has that affected recruiting for you in a positive way at all?
I think it has, there's really, like I said, a buzz around Arkansas athletics right now. And every sport is doing very well. Football is doing well. They're building that program back up. Basketball is obviously having tremendous amounts of success, making the Elite Eight last year. Coach Musselman is just changing the game with his social media, and obviously, being across the hall in our building from Courtney Deifel with softball. It's just, I think, all of us coaches are really supportive of each other, and there's just this camaraderie with all of us. And then at the same time, we kind of feed off of each other's success. And I think a lot of that has to do with our leadership and how solid our athletic department is. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Hunter Yurachek and just the leadership he provides. I think every coach would say the exact same thing here at Arkansas. And I think he sets the tone. He's super goal oriented and has high expectations, but he's incredibly supportive. And what a great model for leadership, I think, for all of us coaches. And it's just, you see a lot of growth. And I think in recruiting, that's helped us a ton. I mean, we've had a lot of success in recruiting these past couple of years since we've gotten to Arkansas, and it's exciting to kind of see the future of what our program could be.
All right, anything else for Coach Wieber? All right, well, thank you all so much for joining us today. And